Megan Hicks of I Run Far. I'm with Katharina Hartmuth. It's the day after the 2023 UTMB, and you're the women's second place finisher. Congratulations, Katharina. How does that feel?
Thank you. It's still incredible, and yeah, it's just amazing. I can't believe it myself.
My first question for you, you said before the race that you were going to be, cautious and careful. This is your first UTMB. Is this what a cautious and careful Katharina looks like?
Yeah, actually it was until there was like the second half, and I realized that there is a race actually going on and that I had the chance to
have a podium.
Exactly, exactly. So I played it all safe and sound, and it was my plan to take it easy, or rather easy. And I think my split times, they were really good, which I gave my crew before.
So like what you did matched your plan.
Exactly, it matched my plan until maybe like the last 40K.
I think maybe I expected you to go out a teensy bit more conservatively, but as early as 20K in, I mean, you were right there with the leaders. You were within the top 10, and the women's top 10 was condensed within like 90 or 120 seconds of each other. So you were just there from the start, ultimately.
Yes, I mean, that was then maybe some coincidence. It was definitely not my goal to like go hard from the gun. I mean, you have to go fast on that first flat part anyways, because otherwise people just run over you.
Yeah. You wouldn't be here with us.
Exactly. So obviously there it was maybe a bit faster than I wanted to.
Okay.
But after that, I mean, I pretty early had the feeling that legs are good and that I just can go for it, or maybe even push a little bit. But it was not that I was feeling, oh, this is way too fast, or what am I doing here? This is not good. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the nighttime, like traveling through sort of the high mountains of France and then Italy, coming into the halfway point of Courmayeur. Were you just like all night long just trying to take care and manage all the details of yourself? Were you starting to think about the women around you at all? What was that like?
Actually, I didn't really thought about the women around me until, I don't know, 100 kilometers.
Okay.
So I just wanted to get through the night in good spirits.
Yeah.
And I felt actually quite confident because I trained a lot during the night in the mountains, and then I felt like, oh wow, I mean there was quite some wind and clouds at the top, and it was a bit difficult then to run there in the night, because you literally couldn't see anything.
Okay.
But then I realized, okay, I'm used to this, I can do this, and that helped me a lot, because I think there many people had to slow down. So actually I got through the night very well, until the end when I developed some problems with my knee, which was not pleasant at all.
Huh.
Yeah.
I saw you taped up on the knee. Have you been taking care of something there for a bit?
Yes, so it was, I mean the tape in the beginning, it was only precaution.
Okay.
But then unfortunately something like a runner's knee started to appear, and then I was afraid that it would get worse and that maybe I would have to drop because it was too early in the race.
Yeah.
We have a bad runner's knee.
Yeah.
And then I tried to tape it up again at Courmayeur, but then my leg was too sweaty, so the tape didn't work. Yeah. But luckily then I figured out to try a different muscle activation in my leg to take the stress off the knee, and that then worked quite well, because I was afraid that the downhills would become a big problem afterwards. And I mean I had some knee pain throughout the race, but it was never super bad.
It's very interesting that you had the presence of mind to think about like activating your leg muscles in a different way to prevent that in the middle of UTMB.
I mean, that was the only chance to stay in the race.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I had a similar problem at Gran Canaria earlier this year, and there it only got worse and worse. And I mean, I made it to the finish line, but it was super painful experience, and I didn't want to experience that one again.
After Courmayeur, after the race's halfway point, you were really inside the top 5 then. However, the women's race for the top 5 stayed dynamic. kind of all the way through. When did you start really engaging with the women's race and being like, hey, I have a chance to really do something here. I'm gonna go for this?
Yeah, so I think after 100K, I catched up with Manon, who's also in the Hoka team, and she told me that she was the current 4th position. That's when I realized, okay, wow, I'm now in 4th place.
Okay.
and at that moment I thought, wow, I mean, if I can keep that position, I mean, it was still such a long way to go, that would be the best 4th place ever.
Yeah.
And then I continued, and then people started telling me that 2nd and 3rd place were actually super close, like within the next 10 minutes ahead of me. And that's when I realized, so, wow, okay, that's pretty close, and there is still a few hours of race left. And I felt good, so I was like, okay, I will just see if I catch them like naturally by just going my own pace, or what happens. And then I somehow came closer to them without pushing too hard. I was just like doing my own thing. And then people were telling me, oh, they're only 5 minutes ahead, only 2 minutes. And then I think when I catch Blondine, I realized, okay, she has now maybe a weak point at the moment. She didn't feel well, I think, in that moment. And I felt very strong when I overtook her. And I was like, okay, let's see. Now I'm in 3rd. And then I saw Fusang before me. And then I was like, okay, maybe I can catch her as well. So that was actually the moment when the race somehow began. When I was.
And where was that exactly?
So I catch Blondine. When was that? That was after Champelac, the first climb.
Okay.
And then on the next climb.
Okay, so maybe the final 40K or 30K of the race is when you were really focused on this.
Exactly, and that was, I think, when I also mentally switched from I want to finish this to okay, I want to be on the podium if possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw that chance, and then I was like, okay, let's try.
What was it like, or let's see, first of all, where did you pass Fu Zhao to come into that 2nd place position? And then what was going on in your head then of being like, geez, I really, like, I'm here, I gotta hang on to this now?
Yeah, well, I catched her just briefly after the Trion aid station.
Okay.
And then after that aid station, there is a climb which is just super steep. And I knew that, I mean, my strength is power hiking. So I knew that if I could push a bit on that climb, maybe I could not only overtake her, but also like put a gap between the two of us.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that worked. And I was in 2nd, but then I immediately got afraid that was a bit too much. And especially
like that you did too much in that moment.
Exactly, because on the previous hill I also did the same to Blondine. So I pushed a bit more than I would have done maybe without this move. And I think on the very last hill up to La Flégère, there I really was afraid that I pushed too much.
You could feel it then.
Exactly. I was completely empty there, and actually there I was afraid that both of them would catch me again.
Okay.
And so that was tough then.
Yeah.
Also, like on the last downhill, they told me, hey, Blondine, she did really well on that climb. She's only 5 minutes behind you. And I was like, oh, now I have to race until the finish line.
Yeah.
And I just gave it everything and luckily could secure that 2nd place. I mean, before the race, obviously, I would have been happy with like any top 5 position.
But once you find yourself in 2nd.
Once you're in 2nd and only like 5 kilometers from the finish line, you're like, no, I want to stay in 2nd now.
Not giving that back.
Yeah, exactly. So in the end, maybe it was a bit of a gamble to race that hard with the 2 ladies. And really on that last climb, I actually asked myself the question if I would make it to the finish line at all, because I felt so empty. Yeah.
The look on your face was really fun at the finish line. It was sort of like a mix between utter happiness and utter shock. Maybe like a disbelief that you were there on the podium of UTMB. Have you started to believe that that's what happened yesterday?
Not yet, actually.
Okay.
It's still strange also that now people are coming up and congratulating me. Also, my phone is just like buzzing all the time.
Sorry about that.
I don't really want to look at that. It's still, I still can't really believe it. And also, I mean, after these long races, you need, no matter which position you end up, you need just some time to digest the race.
Yeah.
Because it's such a long time that you are out there. And then now with this outcome, it's even harder because now everybody wants something from me, and I'm like, hey, can I please for a minute calm down and have like a little recap of that race.
2 major second places in your 2023 year, a second place at the Trail World Championships 80K, a second place here at UTMB. Your trajectory with the sport was already on the up, but like we can safely say that this is a huge ascendancy. What's a person like you gonna do next now that that happened this year?
Actually, that's quite a tricky question. It's always a tricky question the day after a race. But I think today it's especially hard because I'm like, yesterday I had this funny thought. I was, okay, maybe I need to stop now because that year went so well. I'm afraid I can't top that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real thing, is like what is the top? Is this the top? Exactly. Is the top still quite further? Like, that's the big question for you right now.
Exactly. I mean, I have a few races in mind that I want to do in the future. I mean, I have no concrete plans yet. I mean, the only concrete plan now is that it's almost the end of the season, so...
Your concrete plan is your couch, maybe a little bit?
Exactly. Yeah, or just like digest everything and finally start to rest and calm down and collect some ideas for next year.
Yeah.
So no concrete plans for next year yet. But yeah, it's tricky because then people yesterday told me, hey, will you come back next year and try to go for the win? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's maybe a bit too much. And I don't know. It's tricky. But yeah, it's strange because I feel like next year it's hard to top this year. So I don't know how to go into next year.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid that it's only getting worse now.
Or it's still getting better.
Yeah, but now also expectations are higher. So yeah, it's different definitely than going into this year where nobody really expected something, and now
here we are after you having placed second at UTMB this weekend.
Yes, we are. So let's see what comes next. But for now I just first of all try to enjoy everything what's still going on here and try to realize what happened, and I mean, I'm sure that that I have enough ideas and goals what I want to do next, but right now I think I don't have this one thing where I'm like, okay, and this is next and I have to reach that goal. It's not, and I think for now I'm actually happy with that.
Yeah.
Because throughout the year you always have like your agenda of races.
The next thing. Yeah.
And especially with UTMB at the end of almost the end of the season, it's throughout the year is this big goal. And now, well, I've reached like more than my goal.
Yeah.
And I think now it would not be a good idea to already look for the next huge goal.
Yeah. It sounds like maybe like a little bit of psychological rest and respite is what you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure in the autumn, especially if it's nice with the weather as it is now, I will definitely go out in the mountains again and try to do as much trail running as I can before the snow arrives. Because I will dearly miss it throughout the winter time. But in terms of races, I think for now I'm definitely satisfied for this year. So let's see what happens next year.
Well, congratulations on your second place finish at the 2023 UTMB. Yours was a thrilling performance to watch.
Thank you.